Welcome to the West Indian Women Network. I am Priscilla Ramcharan here in the United States, and I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago. I have an amazing guest today who will introduce herself and tell us where she is. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Priscilla, for having me. Hi, listening audience. My name is Vanessa Farrell. I was born on the beautiful island of Montserrat in the Caribbean, but I currently live on St. Croix, which is still in the Caribbean with the
Yes, either
USVI.
way. Uh-huh. Very nice. So, welcome. Thank you for your time. Can you tell us about your work and introduce yourself further?
Yes, so as I said, my name is Vanessa, and I am a health and wellness coach. I have a health and wellness practice, VI Health and Wellness Coaching here in the USVI, but our work is virtual, so we can serve anyone around the world. My
Woohoo.
focus is on women, especially women in leadership role, and the goal is to get them to prioritize and to protect their heart health and to do so without apology. When I
Ooh,
talk about
I
heart
like
health, I'm
that.
specifically talking about individuals who might be hypertensive or pre-hypertensive. What are some of the lifestyle changes that they need to take to get their blood pressure managed or under control?
Ooh, tell us a little bit more about hypertensive. What are the specific symptoms to look out for?
Well, as they say that hypertension is the silent killer. So there's so many individuals who are walking around and who are hypertensive and they may not know. And we know when we go to the doctor, maybe it's just once a year, that might be
Mhm.
the only time that we get our blood pressure taken.
Right.
And, a lot of people just want to chalk it up to a white coat syndrome. Oh, I'm just nervous because I'm here today, and that's why my blood pressure is high. But what I always advise people to do is to, purchase an at-home blood pressure monitor and do yourself a favor. Take your blood pressure at least once a day, early in the morning, and
Mhm.
keep track of it. Write it down so you can see what the trends are. You can see what the triggers are for your hypertension, and keep that information handy so that when you go to your doctor, you can share that information. And specifically for those who have been diagnosed as been hypertensive, they really
Mhm.
need to be vigilant about their food intake, their salt
Right.
intake, specifically their water intake, being physically active, really looking for opportunities to ensure that their mental health is not consistently being perturbed.
Right.
So stuff like that I teach individuals about, especially women.
That's phenomenal. Thank you so much for being here. This
You.
is something that, like you said, you're walking around and you're just not really aware. So what would you say would be a normal blood pressure amount to compare with?
Yeah. So it's 120 over 80. So that would be a normal blood pressure. The majority of people who have a normal blood pressure, it would be 120 over 80. Once those numbers start getting into the 130s and
Mm,
on top and the 90s at the bottom, you really want to make sure that you're speaking to your doctor, and that provider may or may not, prescribe medication, but they will definitely want you to watch those numbers. And you
right.
would only know that if you're taking your blood pressure at home versus once a year at the doctor's
No,
office.
this is good. This is really good because, you never know those silent, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
those silent things that are happening in your body, that the symptoms, they're here, but not, and you know how
Yeah.
we are. We just try to be brave and ride it out.
I know. It's like, you folks talk about, might have a headache
Hmm.
and, oh, it's just gas because we
Mm.
equate everything to gas. And when you actually check into what's going on, that person might just be hypertensive.
Ooh.
So, headache is usually one of those things that occur. Really, people may feel dizzy. So these are the things that you watch for. and don't play around with it, because you'll
Right.
hear the saying like, oh my goodness, I saw her yesterday and she was fine. What do you mean she had a stroke, or she had a heart attack, or she
Oof.
died?
Right.
It doesn't take anything. It's silent. So that's why we want to be very vigilant about our health and what we do to maintain our health.
Yes, and it doesn't take any extra effort to go the extra mile, keep track, find out what's
Mhm,
happening, talk to professionals like you,
mhm.
get that advice. Wow. Well, I really appreciate your time and thank you for joining us today on this
Yeah.
lovely sunny day out here. I hope you're having good weather too. Tell me what got you started with this career path.
Well, I am a public health professional. I have a
Oh,
master's in public health, as well as an
congratulations.
undergraduate. I have an undergraduate in health and nutrition sciences, and I'm
Okay.
also a certified master's coach, health coach, and I'm also a master certified health education specialist. And I'm also a journal coach. So I have
Fantastic.
done a lot of educational accomplishment in the health and wellness space. I've worked for 3 years at the Centers for Disease and Control, CDC, in Atlanta.
Oh,
And I did a
wow.
lot of work there around immunization, HIV, wellness. So, that was my entree into public health. And I have since been in that space of wellness, self-care, health education for a very long time.
Wow. Well, thank you for your service. Thank you for, bringing these things to light because people like me are like, do, 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 I'm fine. And then suddenly it's like, so yes, sometimes we need to be reminded that
Mm-hmm.
we are in a human body that needs
Yes.
attention, special care, and a lot of love.
Yes. Yes.
Indeed. And what is your inspiration each day to continue your work, to continue building and inspiring and helping so many?
I think my inspiration, for me, I speak to a lot of folks, and I really want to be able to walk the walk, or
Mm,
walk the talk, or however they want to put it. I don't want to tell people to do something that I don't do,
right.
so it's from getting up in the morning, even when it's you don't want to do it, getting outside, getting those steps in,
Yes.
taking my blood pressure every day. And it's not just I decided I'm gonna do this work around hypertension because it's a sexy thing to do. I found myself as a leader um,
Right.
with hypertension because
Oh.
I was so focused on working, with
Mm,
everything else ahead of me, as a leader, and I was not doing what I had to do to prioritize and protect my health. So when that diagnosis of hypertension was given, I was like, oh, what? Like, how did that happen? But it was
right.
stress. It was stress. I was really stressed out.
Mm,
So I have decided that when I got that diagnosis, I would quit my job. But a lot of people, most people are not able to quit their job. So how can I provide education to folks so that they can balance life and work and be able to, take care of their health and themselves? So
nice.
my motivation is personal as well as professional.
Well said. Indeed. And that's oftentimes what it is. When
Yes.
someone tells us something, then we become more aware.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, sharing is caring.
That's right.
Indeed. So you
Mhm.
have a copy of your book, you said. Tell us about your book.
So my book is entitled Delayed, Not Denied: The Journey of Singleness. It's Worth the Wait.
Woo! All right. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what inspired your book?
So it started in 2020. That
Hmm.
was the year that I think everybody in the world had plans, because 2020 just sounded so nice, so
Right.
juicy. We had a lot to do. And I was on the verge of turning 50 in 2020. I had big plans. I was getting ready to go to Bali for 8 days. And I was just going to be living my best life in
I
2020.
hear that.
So, in January, my birthday is in April, but it was January I started to start
I was gonna
thinking,
say my birthday's on Friday.
oh, good for you.
Aries.
My birthday is
Okay.
on next Tuesday.
Woo! Happy early birthdays.
Happy early birthday to you too, Priscilla.
Thank you.
So, I began in 2020, and I think a lot of people do. You become very pensive, you become very thoughtful about your life
Yeah.
and, what it is I'm going to do for the year and kind of being retrospective as well. And by society standard, it seemed like I had everything made, everything was going well. But as I looked around my life, I realized I was about to be 50, single as a Pringle, and not a single prospect in sight. And I was like, wow. And it felt like God was telling me, chronicle your journey, just start writing. And in January of 2020, I just started to write about my journey. And my goal was not to shame, blame anyone. It was an opportunity for me to look back at my experiences, see what I have learned, and what I can possibly take into the next dating experience or into the next relationship that will
Right.
possibly lead to marriage. So
Right.
that was my inspiration for writing the book.
Ah, wow. I feel inspired. This is amazing. So tell us one golden nugget from your book.
So the book is really predicated, it's rested upon the foundation of the concept of weight.
Mm.
And for the word wait, I have created an acronym. So for
Hmm.
the W, I said that you need to continually seek wisdom. For the A, keep asking. For the B, I'm sorry, for the I, be intentional. And for the T, trust God's timing.
Yeah.
So that particular weight concept is threaded throughout the book. And then the other thing that I want folks to understand as a key theme or message in the book, it's around this concept of waiting well. And what does waiting well really means?
I love that because when you think waiting, you're thinking impatience, anxiousness, you're in a hurry, you want to get something done, but now you're like, what do I do? So I really love that because it's not necessarily waiting, but you're enjoying your journey until.
Yes,
That is
absolutely.
wonderful. I love
Absolutely.
stories about love and relationships and such. So
Me
this
too.
hits home for me. Wow. All right. And then what is coming up for you in the near future?
Well, what's coming up for me, it's really about getting this book out. I want to get this book into the hands of women, especially single women, and especially women who have a heart desire for marriage, and
Yeah.
especially faith-filled women, because I think women who are Christian, women who are faith-filled believers may have the hardest time when it comes to the single arena for so many reasons. A lot of women like myself have decided, you know what, I am going to be um, not engage in married people behavior until I get married. And
Right.
once upon a time, that was admirable. But now it becomes difficult because in a space of social media, everybody's hooking up, everybody's Netflix and chilling. There is no desire. If you don't want to participate, there is always another willing participant. So I want to be
Mm.
able to spread the word, get folks to read the book, have spirited discussion about the concept of waiting and what does it mean to wait and to wait well.
Right. Right. So, wow, we have to take this conversation even further eventually. Have you conducted outside research for the book, or is it purely from your thinking and your personal experience?
Yeah, so as I was writing the book, I was very deliberate about speaking to a lot of people. I'm the person who I love to talk about people in the relationship, talk to people
Mm,
about their relationship, what work, what doesn't
yeah.
work. So it's, speaking to a lot of folks, reading books, reading the Bible to figure out like what does the Bible say about dating? As a matter of fact,
Right.
it says nothing about dating.
Right.
Listen to podcasts,
Whoops.
sermons. But then what I did was also, I said to myself, I couldn't be the only person who was
Hmm.
feeling this way. And I
Right.
decided to conduct a survey. So I did a survey of both single women and married women. So the survey for single women went out, and I said to myself, if 30 people respond to the survey, that'll be fine. Because I did my research and it said if you had 30 people in your in your respondent group, you could consider that a valid survey.
Right.
However, 121 women responded to the survey in record time. I
Wow.
basically had to stop the survey because I'm like, who's going to analyze all this data?
Right.
So 121 women responded to the survey, and within the book, I've been able to pepper that information throughout the book,
Hmm.
saying it's quoted as what other single women had to say. And it's so funny because most of this research was done way before I even was halfway through this book, and it was so aligned, with the
Right.
information. So I was able to extrapolate what the women were saying relative to those chapters and share it within the book. And then for the second survey I did with married women, because in my speaking with married women, they would always say, Vanessa, marriage is work, okay? It's a
Oof.
lot of work. So I named the survey, if marriage is work, how do I prepare for the job? And I sent out the survey, and
You are
44 women
clever. Hmm.
answered the survey, and they shared so much information that it was just very enlightening.
I love that. I love that. And sometimes you need that space to speak with like-minded people who share
Mhm,
that experience because a lot
mhm,
of times we think we're alone, but the
mhm.
human experience really spreads across. There's so
Yes.
many commonalities.
Yes,
Ooh,
so
I would love
true.
to see that survey.
The survey, I have put it together. One for the singles is together. It's ready to be shared. I'm gonna share it with the respondents first, and then I'll make it available for whoever wants to to read that.
Yes, definitely. That is marvelous. I'm so excited. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us and sharing your work and your book. I feel like now I need to just get that book right away.
Yes, you can get that book. The book is available right now. It's on Amazon in the e-format.
Okay.
It's available for pre-purchase. However, on the 23rd of April, which is also World Book Day, which also happens to be my birthday, will be when the book will be launched. You'll be able to get the paperback and the
Uh-huh.
hardcover on Amazon, as well as the ebook. There's a promotional period happening now for the ebook. It's only
Okay.
$4.99. So I'm urging folks to grab that book now
That
before
is
it
so
leaves out.
generous of you. Goodness me. Now this book has value. I really think
It
so.
does. It
So you'll
does.
send the links. We'll put it in the description box so everyone can grab their copy at their discounted price before it goes
Yes.
up
Yes.
and send you some reviews and some good feedback. Share with your
Yes.
girlfriends. Oh, goodness me. Do I
Yes.
smell a book club here?
I do. As you were talking, I said, this is a perfect book club
I'm
discussion, just
down.
perfect church group, women's group, anyone who just want to have that conversation about
Yes.
love, relationship, waiting, what it means to wait. A lot of us think waiting is because wait, if someone tells you wait, it's to stand still. But in this context, waiting does not mean you're standing still. You're doing all these amazing things, whether it's personal, professional development, you're just doing things to feed into your life so that
Indeed.
when that person finds you, they'll be finding a whole ready person.
Indeed. And just so you know, sometimes I have a little joke that said, what if Prince Charming fell off his horse and he can't get to you? Sometimes you got to find him, right?
But sometimes you do have to position yourself
Right.
to be found. That's right. And then you raised interesting. I thought you were going somewhere else with this because someone have said to me, well, well, suppose he never shows up. And
Mm,
my response for that is we have to remember that our weight or our hope is not really in the relief of what it is we're looking for, but our hope should really be in God. It should really be like, if this person doesn't show up, there's nothing that you're doing now in terms of waiting well that is a bad thing. It
right.
really isn't,
Right.
you
And for
know?
me, what I understand is the way that you love yourself and the way that you treat yourself is going
Mhm.
to invite that one to come in and replicate
Exactly.
that same behavior.
Exactly.
Woo! Look at us.
Exactly.
Incredible. I love, love, love it. I would love to chat with you much more. So come back. We
Yes.
could pick a topic and we could just hash into it.
Thank you.
Yes. Do you have a message for our viewers?
I just want viewers to know, especially women, that you are not alone in the waiting season of your life. Remember that there are great people who lived before us, who have gone through the waiting process, and their dreams were realized. And as I said, if this Prince Charming never shows up, there's nothing harmful in waiting well because it's all a plus. There's nothing
Right.
bad about just living a good life, feeding into yourself emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, and all the other great things that comes with it.
Well said. And if you don't mind, I'd like to add that every day that you wake up, that's a bonus day for
It
you.
is. It is. And
Yeah.
I think, practicing gratitude, really looking at the things that you have and not necessarily that the things that you are trying to acquire, it gives you a better perspective on life. Just being, just thankful for what you have.
Yes. Yes. And yes. Woo. Wow. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time. Come back
Yeah.
anytime. And you all be sure to grab this book. I'm sure you're going to benefit in some way, or you could pass it on to Prince Charming and say, hey. Thank you, Vanessa. So nice to
Thank
chat.
you.
Say
Thank you so much.
bye.
Bye-bye.